Hello friends, looks like you caught me staring into the abyss that is the engine bay of this S55 AMG recent purchase. But this episode is not about that. This episode is about me picking up a 1988 Benz coupe that I found sitting at a dealer in Oakland. Been sitting there since 2014, like and subscribe. And I endeavor to drive it back home. Won't you check it out? Bye. Okay, see ya. Alright. Dropped off. Looks like I'm at the aeropuerto. Where am I going? Going to California to grab a car. Let's see how this goes. Stepping out here in Oakland, just arrived. I was waiting on my transportation, getting picked up by Andrew of 2 Bennett Automotive, and we're gonna go over to 2 Bennett Automotive. That's where my car is. That must be Andrew. There he is. Alright, so I've arrived. 2 Bennett Automotive. This is where my car is. Let's go check it out. This is going to be the first time that I've physically seen this car. Did some good research, obviously. Looked at a lot of photos that the dealer had sent me, videos, listened to it run. Asked the questions, looked at the Carfax, service history, whatever. There wasn't much of service history on that one here that I could speak of, but nonetheless, it seemed like it was going to be a good buy. So we're going to find out. But now we're going to see this thing for the first time. Boom! There it is. 300 CE, 1988, Mercedes-Benz. I chose this thing because obviously it's got a nice stance on it. I knew that it had some suspension work done already, and it's turned out that it does have Eibach springs and Bilstein dampers. It had been recently painted, but certainly the paint is a lot more questionable than I'd hoped for, but what are you gonna do? Let's see, it's still locked. Get my key out here. So, this is really about what I expected, from the photos I saw. It's definitely on the super rough side. But for the money, it seemed pretty right. I think I can hear the fuel pump running already. So yeah, it's a little rough. The other thing that I thought was going to be interesting about this car is the stereo. I know that it's operational, I don't really know. Oh, there we go. There's the tell. Looks like the speakers are in decent condition. This shit's gonna bump. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's not terrible. It's a pretty classic car. The body style is like unreal. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I'm going to give you guys a full history lesson on this, tell you about all the cool stuff on it. But first, I got to drive it back to Salt Lake City. So we got nearly 700 miles from Davis, California, back to Salt Lake. And that's going to be the real tell on this thing. So let's get going. Here we go. I'm just going to start pushing our way back to Salt Lake. I'm going to make a pit stop in Reno just because I think it's going to be smarter to not travel the distance through Nevada during the late hours when people aren't really working and be out there in the middle of the night, just in case I break down. So I'm gonna get up early on the morning after this and start pushing from Reno to Salt Lake. But so far, I don't know, I'm happy, pretty happy. This car is cool. What can I tell you? This is my first moments behind the wheel of the 300 CE, and we're just getting onto the highway, California style. You know, we're gonna push past Sacramento, up the hill, over Tahoe, drop down into Reno. We, planned this whole adventure to make sure that the weather was good. It's April now already, so I was trying to do this trip a little bit earlier in March, and the weather was definitely a key factor. Obviously, you're not going to make it through Tahoe with a rear-wheel drive Benz on 18-inch tires in a snowstorm. It's not happening. I'm always surprised when I see a guy driving around staring at his phone, especially in Cali, but it happens. Anyway, I digress. So about a half an hour on the road here since leaving to Bennett Automotive, and just on the highway on the 80 going to Reno. So far, pretty happy with how the car is running. Temperatures are staying good, engine's strong, everything feels nice. So try not to get overconfident, just feeling happy, but still, pray for me. Alright, so I just made it past my first milestone, kind of checkpoint, which was Donner Summit, and I just passed Boreal and Woodward on Donner Summit, so feeling pretty good, because that big hill is a test that we passed. We made it. I'm at the Reno stop here. Had no problems coming over Donner Summit. Ramped it up to 90. Thing's pretty happy. So, really, no complaints. Beautiful evening. Reno. Tomorrow morning, gonna wake up 5 in the morning and rip it to Salt Lake. It's extra special when you have a host that makes some crazy udon and you get like triple spoiled. Thank you guys for hosting. Allow me to crash.
Yes.
Right, so it's about 5 a.m. Reno, rolling out. I'm taking off early because I do actually have to work at noon, and it's about a 5-hour drive. So I want to make sure I'm getting back to Salt Lake. So far so good. Had a good night's sleep, had some great food. Let's get rolling on the 80. So it's about 7 a.m. The sun is just cracking up over the mountains here in Nevada. I've been on the road for a couple hours, headed back to Salt Lake. So far so good. This thing's just pulling along at 85. Whoops. So we're out here in the middle of Nevada on I-80, about 200 miles west of Salt Lake City. This is a place where you just lose your mind. The road just goes straight forever. It's so boring. Hardly anything to look at. Luckily, once we get right next to Salt Lake, the road starts getting twisty again. Wakes you up a little bit, but man, you could doze off right here and just launch into the median. Either way, we're getting there. So I just pulled up to this super cool art installation outside of Salt Lake City, just past Wendover on the way to Salt Lake City, out here on the I-80. This is called the Utah Tree of Life, and it's a super cool structure. I forgot the name of the artist that donated it. I think he was a French artist or something, but it's out here in the West Desert by the Great Salt Lake, and just a really cool piece. You can see those half shells. Those are half of those domes that are supposed to be like leaves, and they're there on the ground falling. Really pretty cool. Well, looks like we made it all the way back to beautiful Salt Lake City. Here we are. Beautiful day. Car in the drive. I want to thank you guys for coming on the journey. Whether you enjoyed it or not, I'm going to ask that you please subscribe. Try to hit a like off on it, you know, make the algorithm push it up. Really appreciate you guys' support. And the next couple videos, definitely going to release full history of the 300 CE, as well as you know, going through all the issues that we have on it and then starting to repair it. So look forward to that. We'll see you guys soon. Later.